Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Reality Is, where words do come to life and we keep it 100. So, I was intending to do this a little earlier, but I wasn't feeling well, but I'm doing it now. When I heard this story, it pushed all types of emotions because the woman that they videotaped when they botched the raid on her apartment, a 50-year-old lady who's paying rent in a facility that she lives in, that she worked hard for, and they raided her apartment and left her standing there with no clothes on, negating that she was butt naked, and they instantly handcuffed her. This right here, it proves how broken our system is, really. The funny part to the story is how the city tried to cover it up. 2 years. So you're trying to get a newsroom who has the video. You're trying to block it in court because it shows that what your team of police officers did was wrong. Then you go in the woman's room and you give her some cover, and her hands are still tied behind her back and she can't cover her own self. Do you know how embarrassing that is? Do you know how traumatizing that is to have somebody in your house and you just get home from work, working a job as a person who's trying to make a living and take care of their bills and take care of their household, to have somebody break your door down, looking for somebody who has an electronic monitor on that you all can track and sitting right next door. So how did you all make this big mistake? And why is it every time that these mistakes happen, it is from people of color? And why would you want to push to hide it unless you knew you was wrong coming out the gate? And even after it was over, the woman, when she spoke to the reporter, she was still traumatized from the event. She was still traumatized. Do you all realize how much damage you do with the misuse of power? Do you all realize how you traumatize people when you do things the wrong way? And then later on you find out this has happened 50 times with kids. And you all, same scenario. You never go to the white people's house and traumatize them and their children. But it seems to be a habit where you come into our communities, break down the doors, and traumatize us. There is something wrong with this picture. Then you try to cover it up. People that's supposed to be in position of upholding the law, but you're using your power to misuse and break the law. Totally. And then you get on. Now, at first, Lori, I said kudos to you. I did. But when you acknowledged that you was aware of what was going on, that made me look at you from the side eye. See, this is why we don't have no trust for people in power and political office. And if you all think it's okay to cover up your crime, but keep us locked up in these institutions, the black and brown, then nobody should go to jail for anything. They should look over our stuff too. Anybody that's locked up right now, they should be excused for all their criminal activity, since you all think it's okay to hide and to put things away and then use your power to get a court order. And this goes to show again that all the facts was not revealed in the situation. Now the judge is honoring your request. And if the video had not come out because the police officer had on the body cam, how would this story would have turned out? Would they listen to the woman, or would it have been her word against those in power and position, those who's wearing the uniform, those who sit in the office? This is why we don't have no trust. This is why we have no belief in the system in which you say that it's fair and it's not fair. This proves it. And I've said this in other videos. COVID ain't no joke. God is pulling the covers off on a lot of y'all. He's pulling the shades and he's pulling the covers. Because he's revealing some things. And the best is yet to come. Now, you tried to hide the information. Thank God Channel 2 pushed through and they showed the video anyway. And then you all think that money is going to fix the problem when it's an emotional thing. It's a mental thing. And now you don't realize every time she sees a police that the fear will kick in. Now you got to wonder, you paying rent somewhere behind your locked door, which is your home, supposed to be your comfort zone, your peace, your tranquility. And y'all done blowed all that for the person that was right next door. Right next door. You had a tracking device on an individual. You could have clearly tracked that person. And when you walked in that woman's house and you walked through and saw that woman butt naked, somebody should have common sense to cover up. Because if it was your wife, your auntie, your daughter, your mother, you wouldn't want that done to her neither. That's all I'm saying. And here's the flip part. Then Kim Fox gets on and she's bashing Lori Lightfoot for her not acknowledging what happened. See, we throwing the rocks and hiding our hands. We throwing the rocks at each other, but we forget that the accountability lies on us. Now, everybody on social media is saying that Lori Lightfoot should be a one-term mayor. And so many other mayors that was white did some things that you all bypassed, overlooked, and ignored. But when it comes down to a black politician, and let me clear, I'm not holding up neither one of their wrongs. When it comes to a black politician, we're quick to kick them out. But we're quick to accept what the white politician does. And they do us more dirty than some of us do each other. But we're okay with that. Then that's something for you to think about. Why is that? Why is it? And why do we not take ownership when information comes forth? And why don't we do checks and balances to see if the information is valid or not? Why? And why is it every time it's the black people? Explain that to me, because I'm missing something. Why is it always the black people that end up with the short end of the stick, that end up being raped? And this lady was screaming, why? I've been here 4 years. You can hear the heartbreak in her voice. You can hear it. And then people want to blame. I said this to somebody on social media. Lori Lightfoot has accountability, but everybody else that was involved in that situation has accountability, not just the mayor. Not just the mayor. Because if you have a tracking device on anything and you can track, you can tell where that individual is living or not. Did they ignore the tracking device or not? And why is it that judges don't ask questions before they issue an order to seal and to cover up? Why? And why do you have to wait till something is revealed to you before you realize that wasn't the truth that they was telling you? See, there's a lot of holes in this story. It's a lot of holes. The camera told the story of how they illegally broke into that lady's apartment. Illegally. How they embarrassed her. How they made her feel less than. And that itself is heartbreaking. That itself is a violation of her human rights. And we need to understand that totally. But I think we don't get it. Or do we not care? Are we so concerned with the seat that we sit in that we forget about caring for the people, having some compassion, some understanding? And why is it one set of rules for blacks and one set of rules for white folks? You can treat them nice, and I don't care what kind of crime they do. You'll treat them nice. But when it comes to us, you shit on us every time. And this is the problem that I have. This is the problem that I have. Our system is flawed. And if this don't show you how flawed it is, I don't know what will. But I say this to you all. You have a strike against you. The first strike was you're black. The second one, you are female and black. And the third one is you are a politician, female and black. And the standards for you is so much higher. It don't matter that you sit in a political figure office. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is you try to cover up something when white folks do it all the time. And I'm not holding up nobody. But before Kim Fox can point a finger at Mayor Lightfoot, clean up your own camp. Clean it up. Let's see some fairness. Let's see some transparency. That's what we need to see. And I don't know how you're going to fix this one. Because even though if you pay the lady for wrongfully breaking into her apartment, it doesn't take care of her emotion and her mental state. You can never pay nobody enough money to fix their emotional and mental state. And this is where you all need to think about it. I think all y'all need some training. First of all, you need some training on some common sense, because common sense ain't so common for everybody. Anyway, that's another episode of Reality Is, where word do come to life. And I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I hope it caused you to think. I really do. Because if we're going to fix some things, you all have to own up to a lot of BS that you have allowed. And again, everybody's hands that was on that video or trying to cover up, you all are accountable. That's all I'm saying. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when other videos are being uploaded. Until we talk again.